I've realized on my journey that one thing I truly want to do with the rest of my life is help people, okay? Now, I wasn't exactly sure how I could help people and what I could do to help people. But they say that 10,000 hours is what it takes to master a subject, right? And in my life, I've got way more than 10,000 hours in one particular subject, and that is dealing with chronic pain. And so the goal of my life, one of the goals of my life, sorry, I'm in the jungle right now and it's feeding season for every bug that exists here apparently. One of the goals in my life is to help people understand and overcome chronic pain. Because on my journey, with 10 years of suffering, I had no one. I saw countless doctors, countless experts, countless people who apparently had my best interest at heart, and nobody helped me. Nobody was able to put me on the right direction, give me any sort of hope, or fill me with any sort of confidence in that my life could get better. Everyone I spoke to told me that my life would just be in pain for the rest of it. There's nothing I could do. I just had to deal with it. I just had to take medication. I just had to take painkillers. I just had to deal with it. And it just pushed me further and further and further away from reality, away from myself, really. I felt so secluded, so isolated, so helpless. And then I started taking things into my own hands. And I think a lot of people would be in the same situation as me, in that, they're just in pain all day, every day. And everyone they've ever spoke to has told them that there's nothing they can do. There's no way they can heal, that this is just something they've got to live with, and they've just got to take it easy from now on. And so I documented my journey of overcoming chronic pain. I did 100 days of vlogging in a row to showcase what it takes to truly overcome chronic pain. And I did it. And so now, I've been putting out some talks on life in general and, bits about chronic pain here and there. But the direction I want to take this channel, there's two directions that I want to take. First of all is the business that I'm building and developing with my partner, and document that side. But I want to provide education on chronic pain and, talk about things that only people with chronic pain will understand, and things that I think people with chronic pain need to hear from someone who has actually suffered, someone who can genuinely empathize, someone who can genuinely understand what it is you're going through. I had a lot of trouble listening to doctors and experts, physios, whatever it was, because what they were saying made no sense. And they couldn't truly understand what it was I was going through, because they'd never been through it themselves. They'd never actually experienced it. Yes, they might have read a book. Yes, they might have talked to some people, but to truly go through something is what it takes to be able to help other people with that exact same thing. And so I want to be that person. I want to help people because I'm in a very unique situation, I would say, in that being 25 years old and experienced chronic pain for 10 years, you know, I've developed and grown with the chronic pain. And so I've been through a lot, and I've experienced a lot, and I've learned a lot. And so I think I'm in a position that would be beneficial for people, because when I was at the start of my journey, and even near the end, there was no one I could find that was as deep in it as I was, or could even speak the same language as me. Everyone just assumes that they know what it's like with chronic pain, but truth is, you'll never know. No one will ever know unless they go through it. Right? It's different from an injury, and you're healing for 6 months or whatever, because there's a cause to it. I'm not saying there's not a cause to chronic pain, but seeming like there's an obvious pain, there's an obvious cause, right, in that you've become injured, and so your body needs to heal. But with me, and like with many other people who suffer with chronic pain, it just appears. Seemingly, it just appears. And when you don't know what caused it, how will you ever be able to combat it? And when it shows itself, when it manifests into a multitude of different things, for everybody that it affects, there is no one answer that fits everybody. There is no magic potion that you can take. There's no answer booklet that you can just read through and start to heal. It's a very personal condition, very personal disease. And this is where the majority of healthcare experts and doctors and physios go wrong, is that they think that just doing exercise is going to help you. And it's not. It doesn't. For me, it made it worse. Because it's not as simple as that. The main problem that they go through is trying to treat it as an injury, and trying to treat it as weakness, and healing it externally is the main problem, because chronic pain is an internal pain. It's an internal disease. So what actually leads to chronic pain, right? Well, like I said, it manifests itself differently in everyone, right? And this means that the symptoms are going to be different. There's no diagnosis in that you have this, okay, it's this, or anything like that, really. It's such varied responses and results in other people. But there's three main things around chronic pain. First is joint pain. Second is fatigue, widespread fatigue. And I would say third is, well, I guess 4 main topics, right? Joint pain, widespread fatigue, a poor digestive system, and mental trauma. These are the 4 main topics of chronic pain, right? But what actually leads to them? Well, I would say they all stem from mental trauma. A lot of my problems, I had no idea where they came from. And it was only when I spoke to an energy healer that we really started digging deep into my past and understanding that where the chronic pain started to begin was quite a rough experience that I had. And I never put the two and two together. I always sort of brushed that experience off as something that I could deal with and that I had been dealing with. And I could not see the correlation between that experience and the pain that I've been feeling for the next 10 years after that. Chronic pain can also come from injury, where maybe something has been displaced or broken or fractured. It can also come from strains and from malnutrition, from a weak digestive system, right? Widespread fatigue can come from your body not being able to digest and process the food that you're giving it, right? The food is the fuel for your life. And so when you can't break down the food that you're eating, or you're not eating the right food, it's like your body aches because it's just trying so hard to give your body what it needs, right? You put yourself in a bad situation from not understanding your body. You know, when you get things like bloating and excessive gas, there's signs that you shouldn't be eating certain things, that you can't be eating certain things. And when you're breaking out with acne, and so many people just don't listen to their body, right? You need to start building a relationship with your body. And yes, it can be hard because you feel like your body's letting you down, but the truth is you're letting your body down. You're both letting each other down from not understanding how your body works, what it needs, what you need to give it. Other causes of chronic pain, because of the mental nature of it, is mislabeling, or labeling in general. Once you're labeled as someone with chronic pain, say you're going to the doctors and you're saying, oh, my knee's hurting, and they're telling you you have chronic pain, well, there you go, that's that label. You are now someone with chronic pain. And when you listen to these experts, you take their word for gospel. And so labels are so detrimental, right? Because it's like a name tag, right? I am Jack. I am someone who suffers with chronic pain. And so that's how you live your life from then. And when you are misdiagnosed and when you are mislabeled, then it can just manifest into something that was never there in the first place, right? They talk about, well, I'm sure you've heard about people who have been misdiagnosed with certain things, even cancer sometimes, and told that they have 6 months to live, and end up dying within a week because it's just too much, and it's what their mind has now accepted because it's what they've been told, it's what you tell yourself. And so being labeled as something negative, like with chronic pain, can just lead to spiraling. You know, it can lead to this diagnosis becoming true, even if it's not. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, in that you just listen to the doctor without questioning anything. You just accept it, and then they tell you to be on medication for the rest of your life, and you just accept it, and you just keep taking medication, and you're being told that there's no cure, there's no relief, there's nothing you can do about it, and then you just have to deal with it and take it easy, and it's just this spiraling effect, and it just makes everything so much worse. You never do any critical thinking for yourself, because you feel hopeless. You feel like you don't know where you can turn to. Like for me especially, I had nobody to turn to. Nobody understood what I was going through. Nobody understood how they could help. They can offer advice. They can, take things easy around you. But that's not what you need. You need strength. You need rebuilding. You need hope. You don't need to be babied. You don't need to be constantly worried about. You need strength. You need to be uplifted and told that everything's going to be okay. You'll be fine. You're strong. I had nobody telling me these things. I had nobody uplifting. And yes, maybe it was my own fault, because I was feeling sorry for myself for a very long time. And it's hard not to, right? Because when you live this depressing life for a very long time, it is hard to see the positive in anything. And so how can you expect other people to, fight your negativity? It's tough. It is tough. So there's many causes, right? A lot of them are mental, but like I said, you can be injured and your body just not receiving and not being able to use what fuel it is that you're giving yourself, your body, right? There's three main ways, I would say, that chronic pain affects people. Okay, first one is physical, in that you have these pains, you have this fatigue, you have this weakness of the body, and this is what a lot of people talk about when it comes to chronic pain. How tired you get, and how you can't do this because you can't walk up a hill, or you're just in pain, right? That's obviously chronic pain, right? You're in pain. And so this is what a lot of people consider to be the only pain related to chronic pain. But there's two other sides to it, which is why they're so overlooked, because I believe that these other two, I believe the physical only manifests itself from the mental pain. Now, the mental pain is the stem of it. It's what births it. It's what amplifies it. And at the end of the day, it's what affects it. It's what heals it. It's what makes it worse. It's what makes it better. Your mental state, how you think about your life and how you think about this pain you're experiencing, is what will happen, right? You can control your future when it comes to chronic pain, because the sad and quite hard truth to accept is that you got yourself there in the first place. This was something I had to accept. It was a tough acceptance. It was a tough journey from hating life and hating myself, to Being able to understand and accept that, yes, there's external factors, but the pain has manifested into physical chronic pain because of the way that I have perceived it and the way I have reacted to it and thought about it and lived my life around it. Now, the mental pain comes in depression, anxiety, mental weakness in general, not standing up for yourself, not being able to argue your points, not being able to articulate yourself, not being able to question anything. And this sense of impending doom and hopelessness, right? These are all ways that chronic pain resides mentally. But there's one other that is overlooked by everyone. And it can be such a huge catalyst for making everything worse. And this is social pain. Now, when you're in this state of chronic pain and when you are in pain and weak and depressed and anxious, this leads to detachment from other people, from yourself, from the public, from your family, your friends. It's like I mentioned, nobody could understand what I was going through. And when you're in this mindset, this state of, oh, nobody can help me, nobody knows what I'm talking about, everyone thinks I'm crazy, you just become so detached from other people. And this is lonely. It's a very lonely journey. You know, and it's very overlooked by people, because when you're told that you can't get better, you can't cure, you can't heal, you can't do anything, it already makes you feel so hopeless, so worthless, so resentful. And then you start to think, well, why would anyone want to hang around with me? Why would people waste their time being around someone like me who can't do anything better with their life, who's just going to hold everyone back, who's just going to be a downer on everything. And so it builds in your mind these stories, these games, and you paint this picture of the world and people. And the worse and worse it gets, the more and more you take yourself out of situations and friendship groups and family, and you stop going out and you stop talking to people. And this spiraling effect, or no benefit comes from it whatsoever. And it just leads to more and more anguish and depression and anxiety. And then in turn that manifests itself into more pain, physical pain. It's this never-ending cycle of being alone and not believing you can heal, and then detaching yourself further. And when you're telling yourself all these things, there's such a weak image that you have, a weak self-perception, that's what manifests into the reality. And when you can't speak to someone who can empathize with you or understands what you're going through, then it's near impossible to get out. It is. I gave up with doctors and experts and nutritionists and physios and everything because they weren't giving me the answers I wanted and that I needed. And so I went alone, and it just made it so much worse. It wasn't until I met this energy healer and that he was genuinely able to empathize with me and help me that I realized that I'm so much more and I could be so much more. And I just realized that doing it alone is possible, but painting that new picture of yourself, of this strong version of yourself, is, well, it's tough by yourself after what you've been told by everyone else and from yourself from a very long time. But the first step with it all, because it's not an easy journey, right? But it is a lot simpler than it's made out to be. The first step, like with anything, is acceptance. And it took me a while to accept that I was the problem. I was the reason. I put myself in that situation, and it was hard to come to terms with. But that was the first step. That was the most important step. And from there, slowly by slowly, I can start to change my self-perception. I can start to do things. I can start to believe that I can do things. I didn't even bother with the physical pain. I didn't exercise. I didn't do any of these things because I understood that it all comes from the mental. And so healing the mental, become more social and work on the mental through meditation, through affirmations, through mirror work, through shadow work. Tell yourself that it will be okay, that you're strong, and believe it, even if it's not the case right now. I always said to myself, would I rather be happy and in pain or sad and in pain? And, well, I would much rather be happy and in pain. And so I started putting myself out there, stepping out of my comfort zone. And you know, I used to avoid myself in the mirror every single time. I could not look at myself in the mirror. And I had to build my relationship up with myself. I had to become more confident. I had to talk to the camera every day for 100 days to put myself in a position of, well, a new situation. You have to detach yourself from all the old bad habits you have that you know don't help you and that are keeping you in this mindset of chronic pain, right? I moved to a different country. I started doing things that, you know, I not only that I wanted to do, but also that I didn't want to do, right? Because you just have to change these patterns. You have to just keep mixing it up and doing different things, because routine is an absolute killer with chronic pain, because you're just doing the same harmful things every single day, day in, day out, and you have to make the changes. But it all starts here. All of it. Like I said, it's the stem, it's the branches, it's the leaves, it's the everything is the mental. And this is what they don't tell you. They just tell you you're in pain and you need medication. You don't need any of it. When you can understand and appreciate and accept that chronic pain is all mental, that's when I started to heal. That's when life started to change for me. And that's when life will start to change for you. I hope this helped. I've probably been waffling for way too long, but there is no quick fix, and that's the sort of idea that I wanted to portray with the 100 days of vlogging, in that everyone just puts out these 12-minute time-lapsed videos or one day in the life when it comes to chronic pain, and it's just disrespectful, honestly. Chronic pain is not, there's nothing quick about chronic pain. So I hope you got some value from this. I hope if you do, you leave a comment, let me know what you found most interesting. I'm going to be posting one of these a week, plus just another random talk, not as long as this, probably between 5 and 10 minutes, of just lifestyle things I find interesting. And yeah, like I said, I hope you found this valuable. Send me a message if you need any help, or you know, just want someone to talk to who has been through it, because like I said at the beginning of my journey, I had absolutely no one to talk to. I had no one who could understand, and it was lonely. And so if I can help anyone, I'm here for you. All right, all the best, and I'll see you on the next one.